hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is another day of soap opera Love in the Afternoon. I am Les Kurkendaal-Barrett. Hello, Jordan Hudson.
Hi, I'm your co-host, Jordan Hudson.
I was like, it's after I talk about Mercury retrograde, I'm like, did he drop off the call?
Wait, what?
I was like, hello? Can you hear me?
No. You went out for a second, just a second. I don't know if that's me because I tend to roam and I really should sit down. But I just got excited because it seems like it's finally raining here in New York. And for me, it could rain 40 days and 40 nights. That way these idiots cannot be outside blasting music and firecrackers. I'm like, let it rain the entire summer. I don't care. It's not like we can go out anyway, so I'm like, let it rain for 40 days and 40 nights. It's just right. I would love it. I would just bring it on. No, because they've been saying that we were going to have rain here in New York. They kept, every time I would look at the weather, I don't even know why I look at the weather because it's not like I'm doing anything. They're like, thunderstorms every single day, and every single day it's been hot. So I'm not going to get my hopes up high because the few times that it almost rained, it rained for a second and then the sun came back out. So I don't want to get too excited, but it would be nice to have one night of just constant rain so there's no firecrackers. I'm just over it already. I didn't know. Did you get the memo? Because I didn't. And it's not just New York. I hear it's all across the country.
Oh, yeah.
This is an ongoing thing where people, and I'm just I don't know. Was there a memo that was released and I just didn't get it? What is going, but we got a lot to talk about in this podcast. So the minute we finished our podcast, news broke, and I was immediately telling Les, "Did you see this?" And we were gagging.
Let's get into it. Which one do you want to start with? Which one do you want to start with?
I think we got to start with the bad before we get to the good.
Okay. I will say the name and you start. Melissa Reeves.
Yes, Missy Reeves, for those of you who don't know, plays Jennifer Rose Horton Devereaux on Days of Our Lives. She's played it for 150 years. And last week, news broke that she had liked certain tweets from Candace Owens. And it seems that some of you aren't aware of who Candace Owens is, so we'll get into that when we explain why this is an issue. Because for those of you who don't know, Candace Owens is, yes, she is black, but she is... I'm going to say it this way. The first time I came across her, I didn't know who she was. This was a few years ago, and I listened to a minute of her ramblings on I think it was YouTube, and I had to stop it. I was like, who is this? And, the minute she started going off on the fact that racism doesn't exist, I'm like, I can't. I have no time for you. God bless her if she has never ever experienced racism, but that's just her viewpoint. To say that racism doesn't exist and that we're all crazy and that we're making this up is insane to me. And I read up on her, and it seems like she's just basically the black Tommy Lauren. Right. She is a Republican. She believes in Trump. And whether she, some people say that she does this so that she can make money and she's taking advantage of them or whatever. Whether that's the truth, who knows? Me personally, I don't care what her reasoning is. The things that come out of her mouth are extremely dangerous. They're horrible. She does not speak for the black community.
No, she does not.
And for Melissa Reeves at this point in time, with everything that's going on, for her to even suggest liking anything that Candace Owens, of all people, says is a big, huge problem. And that's what people don't understand. It's about the time that we're in right now, for her to like anything from this person who is so negative and so just, I mean, some of the things that come out of her mouth are so vile. And one of the things, like, I read, because again, immediately people were jumping to her defense. I got very agitated because there seems to be a fan site on Facebook. I won't, shout out the name because I don't get into little Facebook arguments. Okay, I really don't. It's like, but I was reading the person who hosts it, the video page. Anyway, so I was reading what he was writing or she, and then what all their, the people that are fans of this site were writing. And of course they were defending her. They were saying the whole,
after you said freedom of speech. So can you go back and say, I don't want anybody to miss a thing.
Yeah. So, immediately they were saying the whole freedom of speech thing, everybody has the right to own their own opinion, which I'm really sick of people using that as an excuse to cover the fact that you're basically just a racist. And I think I would have more respect for these people, including Missy Reeves, if they would just come out and say, you know what? Sorry, I'm a racist. Just admit to it. Own it. Own your truth. Stop hiding behind it, because at this point in time, this is not about homophobia and racism. That's not an opinion. That's hate. Period. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so Candace Owens, this is something that Candace Owens said recently, and I'm going to bring this up because this is, I want people to understand, because believe it or not, there's a lot of people who don't know who she is. And that was one of the things that one of these people on the Mirror page said. They were like, I don't understand why everybody's getting so hot and bothered. She agreed with an accomplished Black woman, no less. And it's just like, yeah, I'm not going to lie. Candace Owens is a very intelligent person. She's very educated. She can speak. That doesn't necessarily mean that, what you're saying is humane or good, Mm-hmm. And this is something that she said recently, that got a lot of people in an uproar. She said, and she was referring to indigenous people, uh-huh. the Native Americans. She said they were literal cannibals. It's been proven. That stuff stopped when white men began believing in a monotheistic worldview and started assigning morality. So she basically was saying that Native Americans were savages and cannibals, and white people came and turned them around. And again, that's the kind of thing that this woman is spewing, let alone all the other horrific things that she's said over the years. So yeah, for Missy Reeves to in any way align herself with this person, it's a bad move. And again, and for those of you who don't know, this is not the first time that she's done this. A few years ago, she supported Chick-fil-A when the whole flack came out about Chick-fil-A and them being against homosexuals and giving money to anti whatever. And she posted a picture of herself biting into a Chick-fil-A sandwich, saying something like, good, freedom of speech or whatever. I don't know. I forgot exactly what she said. And, people did get upset with her. Greg Rickard from Young and the Restless actually did an article for, I forgot which periodical or something. He did an article and he brought that up, and people kind of looked the other way about it with her. It was this kind of thing like, yeah, you couldn't, because she never really said, I hate the gays or anything like that. She just posted that picture. So people kind of like looked and I'll admit it too. I even was myself, whatever. But now this is just the final straw as far as I'm concerned.
Now I have something I need to say too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So here, attention listeners, attention. If you have any children listening to this, either get them out of the room, cover their ears, because I have something I want to say. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Okay, are the kids gone? Or have you moved to the other room? I'm going to say this. First of all, Candace Owens is a stupid bitch. And before you come at me, I'm Black. So if you want to come for me, you can come. We'll go. But Candace Owens is what you call a self-loathing Black woman. I've dealt with people, both men and women who are Black, who hate the fact that they are Black. And so they find, since they are so insecure with being Black people, they find that the only way that that's going to make them feel good is to go along and get along with white people. Now, before you accuse me of being racist, I am married to a white man. So if you want to come at me, you come at me with that too. And not only is he white, he's very white. He is as white as you can get. So you want to come, you come. But Candace Owens, it's like, people like Candace Owens, like what's that other idiot's name? Stacey Dash. These people who are very insecure and hate the fact that they're black. So what do? They put other black people down because they think that that makes them look better. But guess what, you dumb bitch, Candace Owens? They're laughing at you behind your back. You think that they accept you? They are laughing at you behind your back. And the more that you say about black people, the more they're laughing at you. So get that straight. Number 2, Melissa Reeves. Are the kids still out of the room? All right. So Melissa Reeves, that a dingo ate my baby Rademacher, and whoever else, you guys need to shut the fuck up. We don't care what you think politically. You need to get your ass in front of that camera, read your fucking lines, and go home and shut the fuck up. We don't care what you think. All we care about is that you say your lines, you don't flub them, you act as best you can, which I know, Melissa Reeves, that's kind of hard in your case, because if you had to act your way out of a paper bag, you'd be stuck and in trouble. But you know what? Keep your fucking opinions, keep your politics to yourself. Because guess what? Before I found out how she felt about things, I actually was a fan. Before I found out how Ingo Rademacher felt about things, I actually was a fan. And now I'm going to be completely honest. Because of their politics, and because I know that in both cases, they're both allegedly, and I will say allegedly, even though I don't think that, but since they're allegedly, on the other side of correctness when it comes to race, guess what? I look at your scenes, and instead of looking at your character, I think, I'm watching a racist. So I'll pay attention to the co-star of the scene, or maybe I'll even forward it. I'll go there, and I'll admit it. I know we're a new podcast. I know we need listeners, but you know what? We're a new podcast, but this is my fucking podcast. And so that's...
Exactly.
And that's how I feel.
No, it's true. I mean, again, this goes back to people thinking that saying, can a person have an opinion or because again, everybody keeps, and I'll be the first one to admit it. For those of you who don't know, Jordan Hudson, that's a pseudonym. That's not my real name. This is I guess like a character I play. I mean, Ashley was very worried that they would find out who I really was somehow. I love Ashley to death. She really always looked out for me. She was just always afraid that if I used my real name and people find out at the soap studios, they wouldn't hire me anymore, because I would talk about things that were happening behind the scenes. This is a character. I mean, don't get me wrong, people. This is me in the sense of like all the stuff that I talk about. That's all true. The only thing is that's not my name, and unfortunately, I'm not as gay as Jordan Hudson. I don't laugh like him. My voice doesn't go high. A few of you have actually met me, and it's so funny because they meet me and they're like, "Can I still call you Jordan? Because you're still Jordan to me." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't mind if you call me Jordan." They're used to thinking of me as Jordan. So, but it's just like I'm actually a different person, and the thing too is that I will admit that I know more about comic books and soap operas than I do about politics and religion, because it's something that never interests me. I wouldn't say that somebody I know told me that it kind of scared them. It never scared me. It just really just bored me, and it just really annoyed me because of all this hate and stuff, that goes with religion and with politics and how people. But we're not at that point now. This is not about Democrats and Republicans and the right and the left. This is about what is right and what is wrong. So yeah, in life, things aren't always black and white, and there's a lot of gray. But right now, what's going on in this country right now, it comes down to right and wrong. And it's been like this for 4 years since we had that asshole put into office. Okay? And so when these people, like, because I was shocked when people started outing all these other, like, film stars. I was like, what? You know, they were, like, talking about, they were, like, listing names. And I'm like, wow. So the thing is, it's just like, this is no longer your opinion. This is you owning the fact that you're a racist.
Yeah.
This is you admitting that you are racist. And again, the reason people feel emboldened, if that's the correct word to use, emboldened, is because of the fact that Trump has allowed that. He is basically telling people, it's okay to hate. It's okay to be upfront about that. It's okay to curse a person out, to wave a gun in somebody's face, to shoot somebody. This is your president who's done this. So now, I'm sorry. It's no, because again, another term that I really can't stand is the whole cancel culture thing. I get why people get upset with cancel culture, and I agree that before jumping the gun and firing people, you need to make sure and get all the facts down, and I agree with that. But when it's obvious, when there's proof, you know, then there's nothing to think about. It's not cancel culture. It's the fact that, you know what, we don't want to work with a racist. Right. That's what it comes down to, because this has been going on for quite some time. I don't know if anybody knows, but what is his name? Harley Sawyer, or he was Kyle Abbott on Young and the Restless for like a hot minute. What? Harley Sawyer. Uh-huh. And he's been playing the elongated man on the series The Flash and the CW for a couple of years now. And I have to admit, I adore him. Elongated man is one of my favorite characters. See him come to life, and he was doing an excellent job. A couple of months ago, tweets that he not supposedly, because they're real, tweets that he made like a few years ago surfaced, and immediately the producer and CW, they fired him. And, of course, people, the same thing like with Melissa Reese, people were like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is something that he did in his past. You know, people change, people grow. And it's just like, you know what? I read the tweets, and I'm sorry. First of all, he's not a kid. He is a grown man. This was a few years ago, not a lifetime ago. You know, when you talk about Mark Wahlberg doing something kind of slightly prejudiced and racist when he's 16, growing up white in Boston, that I can understand. You understand what I'm saying? Uh-huh. The growth there, because now Mark Wahlberg's an adult. He's gone beyond that little universe of his in Boston. Harley Sawyer is somebody who is an actor, who's been in LA, who's been around. And this, again, these were tweets that he made when he was in his late 20s, I think, if you do the math. Right. Because he's like 30-something. And the tweets were really disturbing. Because not only were they were really overtly racist, they were very homophobic and very misogynistic. And I'm sorry, as a person, if I would not feel comfortable going to work the next season with that individual. Not that I was afraid of him, but I'd be afraid of what I'd do to him. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, and I don't think people realize that half the cast of The Flash are people of color. Right. And women. Why should they have to work with somebody who feels that way, who said things like that? And again, for those of you who don't know, read the tweets, man. They're not funny. Maybe he feels that a lot of white guys, follow him, so he thought, the whole bro thing and stuff. And yeah, Daniel Tosh does it, Joel McHale to an extent. But these weren't jokes. These weren't funny. These were really disturbing comments that he made. And as much as I enjoyed him playing that character, and I didn't want to, I didn't want him to go, but it's just like he has to. Yeah. Yeah. People, I'm sorry, you got to start holding people accountable for their actions. This is no longer, it's not okay to say, yeah, it's all right for you to be racist, homophobic, and sexist, and still have a place in our society. I'm sorry. Right. You need to control yourself. Right. You need, it's just, so I disagree. I don't think that he should come back. And honestly, it's going to be interesting to see how NBC handles this, because personally, I don't know how she's going to even be treated on that set, because for those of you who don't know, her castmates immediately went in on her.
By the way,
and
Lindsay
they
Godfrey,
had something to say.
Lindsay Godfrey, you can never do anything wrong on this podcast again. You do no wrong on this podcast. Lindsay Godfrey, you are a friend of the podcast forever.
I gotta say, that I was a little hard on her, but only because, I really didn't know her. But she has the quickest way that you're gonna win Jordan Hudson over is by acting your ass off. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters to me. I don't care how ugly you are, how pretty you are, how anything you are. When you make me feel that's what. So even though I've been hard on her at the beginning, that's because I really didn't know her and watch her. I saw one bad episode, not even a bad episode, but I just didn't care for her character on Bold and Beautiful. And I was like, and that kind of stays with you when you're like, so I saw this one scene. So when I heard she was on Days, I was like, oh, but I had to admit, since I've been watching it, she's been winning me over because the girl can act. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, she's giving you life every day, she doesn't hold back. She's unlike some of these other actors. She never phones it in. She's always giving 100%. So she's been winning me over. Now, just like Les said, I am sold 100%. I am a huge fan now because not only can she act, she's an ally.
Yeah.
As her co-star said, yes. She is an ally in more ways than one. She did not back down to these people. She clapped right back. She was just like, she said she wasted little time responding, and after one Twitter user defended Reeves, she said, nah, there's no difference of opinion on racism, homophobia, transphobia, and xenophobia. That's a read right there. Then she's like, yeah, but even the nicest people can have awful views. Plenty of nice people have awful moral compass. I can't associate with it because it makes me a hypocrite. I condemn all those hateful and harmful beliefs. And she's absolutely right. And that's what this comes down to, people. It's not about cancel culture. It's not about that. It's about, you know what? You're a hater. You're a racist. You're a homophobe. You're whatever. You should not be a part of us. I'm sorry.
No.
It's that simple.
Or put it this way, because having the reason why I'm a podcaster is because I'm a fan. And so if I know that you don't like me because I happen to be black or I happen to be gay, why should I support you? Why should I support you? If you don't like me, you don't like me, but then you want me to support you and give you clicks and give you views and give you mentions and give you like the do they still do the Q ratings? Remember the Q ratings they used to do? Do they still do those? The popularity? Why should I give you that stuff? Why should I if you don't like me? Why should I talk about you on the podcast and talk about the good work that you do if you hate me because I'm black and gay? Think about it.
It's just, and like I said, Lindsay was not the only one. Obviously, Lamont Archie has something to say about it. He's the one who plays Eli, which ironically, he's her cousin on the show.
Right.
He was, again, they were very respectful though. They did not stoop down to any kind of level. They kept it real, but very constructive. And it's just funny because before that broke about Melissa Reeves, he had spoken out to the fact that there needs to be more black people on Days of Our Lives. Right. It was so funny because the first article that I read that day was his article where he's just saying 3 is not enough, referring to the fact that it's just him, Abe, and Lonnie. And then not even an hour later, the whole Melissa Reeves thing blew, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And even people that are no longer regulars on Days spoke up. Martha Madison, right? Madison, who plays Belle. Yeah. She's the second Belle. I think at this point she's the only Belle because, not the only Belle, but Kristen Storms, I think, left really early on, and Martha's played it nonstop since. Right. Even she said, it's so disappointing to watch folks I know either ignore or perpetuate the racism and hate we all see happening. Even more, I'll never understand using religion as a reason to only love selected groups of humans. It's antithetical to the whole belief system. It's gross.
Uh-huh.
So,
and that was a read,
you know,
Melissa Reeves.
yeah, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, NBC has yet to say anything about it. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to look the other way. Who knows? They probably will. By the time they go back into production, it'll probably be old news, and people won't. I hope that's not the case. And I'm not saying this because I want her fired. Personally, I just feel like, can you imagine how tense it's going to be on that freaking set?
And think about it.
She's going to have to film. She's going to have to film by herself. At least her and Matthew Ashford and like whoever. It's like, I mean, because if I was playing Eli, I would refuse to work with her.
Right. Now I have a
question. And soap stars have done that.
I have a question about are they out on the production team? Before I say a name, is this person out?
In front of the scenes or behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes, the person who I'm going to mention.
Somebody that works behind the scenes on Days of Our Lives?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. The only person that I know for sure is gay is... I mentioned his name because I don't know if he's out too. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like, who?
Okay, I guess I could bleep this. It's Ron Carlivati gay and out?
Oh yeah, Ron Carlivati's out.
So so this is what I'm gonna say. Okay, you idiot. Your boss is gay. Your boss is a gay man, and you're gonna talk mad shit like that?
Well, I don't know. I think I could be wrong, but I think the whole Melissa Reeves thing happened. Could it have happened before Ron came on?
No,
I'm not sure.
He's been on for years. Ron's been on for a couple of years now.
Yeah, but I think the Melissa Reeves thing happened. I could be wrong. I can't remember exactly when the Melissa Reeves things happened with the. But the thing is, there's other people behind the scenes that are gay. There's even people I'm sure that's on the cast that's gay and not out yet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just like at this point in time, like this is at least in my eyes, this is something that's serious.
Right.
And again, it's a matter of the timing and stuff. I mean, what this country is going through right now, for her to like anything that of all people, Candace Owens, right. You know, and so it's a hot topic. It needed to be brought out. It needed to be discussed. Me and you have said our piece on this. We'll see. We'll keep you updated if anything happens. I mean, I think, me personally, I think that what NBC is going to try to do is they're hoping that before they go back to filming and everything, that this kind of blows over. And you know what?
I don't think it is.
It just might.
These days, I think if this was last year, I would say yes. But the way the world is now, I don't think it's just going to blow over, because I personally think that after all of the stuff that we've been through this past month with the protests and with people speaking out and with people just, with the whole anti-racist culture that's forming, I don't think it's going to blow over anymore.
Well, you know what the thing is, though, why it might blow over is because she just liked a couple of comments on Candace Owens. She never spoke out. She's very clever that way. It's like she's never spoken out the way certain, like for instance, with the guy Harley Sawyer from Flash, they were able to find. And again, I'm not a Twitter person, but so these things, when you tweet something, it's there forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. You can't delete it or get rid of it, because if you can't, why do people not go back and delete shit? Because it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me how people find tweets from, this person tweeted this in 1964 and here it is. You know what I mean? It's just like damn, you can go, you know what I mean? Like, it's just amazing to me, because if you know that, because that's the whole thing too. Immediately when these people get busted, they're so apologetic. I mean, it's almost to the point where I feel like somebody wrote like a paragraph and they're just passing it along to everybody, because everybody's paragraph sounds the same. I'm so, I am so apologetic for what I said. I'm going to be working on myself now and trying to be a better person and learn from my mistakes and learn, and like everybody's basically saying the same damn shit. And he said it too. And it's just like, but dude, you have been working on The Flash for 3 seasons. Right. You have been working with people of color. You've been working with women. You've been working with gay people. And it's never dawned on you to say, hey, I better go back and you know what I mean? Because the thing is, you're saying that you're not like that anymore. But how are we supposed to believe you? Again, read his tweets. I wish that I would have saved them or wrote them down, because this was months ago. I actually was going to talk about it on my Facebook page, and it just was everything going on. I just didn't get around to it, but it just was amazing to me, because when I read it, I was like, this is the writings of a really disturbed individual.
By the
Only
way,
a disturbed individual would say these kind of things.
By the way, Melissa Reeves' daughter is doubling down. Melissa,
what's she saying?
She's saying, I think it's pretty okay. So a woman, and this is from Soap She Knows. This is I saw this online. So this person named Monica on, I guess, Instagram posted. She put, so Melissa Reeves' daughter decided to come on my IG page and comment. Again, no apology, more conservative BS, and she's stating that we started this because we are bored. I guess this whole family is special in their own way. #days, #Melissa Reeves. This is what the daughter said. I think it's pretty amazing that those of you who are making the harshest judgments are the ones who never met her. You're all cowards under the very false, twisted impression that you're being brave. Yes, my family is ultra-conservative, and I am also close friends with people that are ultra-liberal, because this is America. That's how it should be. You preach that everyone is entitled to their opinion. You use the word bigot. Mind you, look at the definition, then go ahead and feel ashamed at your hypocrisy. And you say Black Lives Matter, then viciously tear apart Candace Owens for being a conservative Black woman. So I guess what you really mean is certain Black lives matter. You contradict yourself at every turn, and it's truly sad. I hope you never get a chance to meet my mom, because she would show you nothing but love and kindness to your face. I put that in. And you should feel like an even bigger fool than you should right now. You started this out of boredom, and that, in my book, is everything but brave. It's disgraceful. So there you go. They're doubling down.
Oh, please. Your mother cheated on your father. She's
allegedly.
There was no allegedly. Scott Reed found out, told her to quit that damn show, and she did it. Everybody knows. There's no allegedly. Everybody knows. It's all been out. I'm just so sick of people. Her daughter sounds like a big buffoon. She's a hypocrite. I can't with that family. They are just own the fact that you're a racist. Just own it, admit it. I'm so tired of them hiding behind, this is your opinion. Your opinion, so basically it's okay for you to hate Black people and Latin people and gays. Come on, I don't have time for this anymore. They're annoying. Well, look, while we were doing that, I found some of Hartley Sawyer's tweets. This was from 2014. That's 6 years ago, people. 6 years ago. This man was tweeting this stuff. Out at dinner and just exposed myself as a racist. Again, in capitals. The only thing stopping me from doing mildly racist tweets is the knowledge that Al Sharpton would never stop complaining about me. If I had a wife, I would beat the hell out of her tonight. LOL. As a lad, one of my favorite activities was kidnapping homeless women and cutting off their breasts. Enjoyed a secret boob viewing at an audition today. I think I could work in a tit factory and be pretty happy. The saddest part about someone committing suicide is that they will never listen to David Bowie again. Date rape myself so I don't have to masturbate. Super Bowl, America, 80% of the prison population is African American.
Well,
just kidding. I don't care, and fags are fine, but sports often make me snore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me again why the CW shouldn't like fire him for racist and misogynistic and homophobic. And he's 35 years old, people. So I just looked up his age, 35. So he did this when he was 29. 29. I'm sorry. 29 is a little bit old.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I know that there are people in their 40s and 50s that are immature. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying to use that defense that he was some kind of like, you know what I mean? No, you kind of, at 29, even if that's the way that you feel, you should be smart enough to realize that you shouldn't be putting it out there because it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. Right. At least that much you should know.
Right.
At least that much. So it's something that we'll keep you posted about what's going to happen.
Yes.
With that. I mean, if anything happens with it, I mean, I like Les, I agree that I do think that this is a different time, and I'm hoping that, because again, this is a pattern with her. That's what people don't understand. This is not the first time that she's shown her true colors, you know?
Yeah. And I'm sure she'll come back with, I like Abe.
Well, on a good note, the Daytime Emmys returned last Friday, and as far as I'm concerned, I haven't enjoyed the Daytime Emmys this much in years. We should do it on a virtual platform every year, because you know that's the only reason CBS did it, was because
the ratings went up.
Absolutely nothing. The ratings were very, very high. The ratings were very high. So CBS, not only does CBS win bank by having big ratings, they didn't pay anything for this, because this was literally filmed at people's homes.
Right.
I mean, and you know, I have to admit that I was like, this is going to look mad ratchet, but I was actually impressed with it. I actually, you know why? Because there was none of that cutesy trying to be funny kind of crap that they make the presenters do. Everything was just straightforward and simple. And it served its purpose, you know? I actually really enjoyed it. And like I said, I haven't enjoyed the Emmys. I haven't enjoyed any award show in a quite a long time. I usually tape them and just fast forward everything to. But here I was like actually like engaged. I was like, you know, so, and for me, I was actually surprised that all the winners of the Actors Award, I was behind all of them. I mean, there were definitely a couple which I would have loved for somebody else to win, but at least it wasn't somebody that I was like, how the F did that person win? You know, because that's usually the case. And especially in the last 2 years, there's been a lot of like, who did that person blow to get that Emmy, you know?
Well, let's do a quick rundown.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then I liked, you know, and I love the fact that a couple of people did do little shout outs to Black Lives Matter and to racial equality. Yes. Quite a few. And of course, some racist fans were not having that. They were like, I saw some people write some things like, they need to just shut up. This is an award show. You know what? It's their moment. They can say whatever the fuck they want. And I'm sorry, the tide has turned. We're not going back. The tide, we've crossed that line. It's get used to it, people, because this is the new normal. So
yeah.
So, by the way, you guys, you can have bring the kids back in. They can listen now. The kids can. I'm sorry. The kids can come back. They can come inside.
So they for some bizarre reason, I don't know why they did this, but there's no longer best ingenue and best younger male. It's now one category, which I think is extremely unfair. And I'll tell you why. Because, for instance, only women, for some odd reason, were nominated in the category this year. There were no males. And I'm sorry, Cameron from General Hospital should have been nominated.
Yeah.
He should have been nominated. That's why I don't understand why they made it just one category. And why no young males were nominated at all. It was just all females. But do you want to tell them who won, in case they didn't know?
Olivia Rose Keegan, Claire Brady.
Ah! I was very, very happy about this, because everybody knows that I've been living for her since she came back. And I did think that she was one of the few, because when she first joined the show was when that other girl was playing Sierra that wasn't that great.
Right.
And I feel like she was one of the few people, her and the first Jay were like the only two I felt that could really act out of all those kids they had on. The rest of them were horrendous. So I'm a fan, so I was ecstatic that she won. Yes. I wouldn't have minded if Sierra won, but I was really grateful that she won, because I feel like, you know what, she deserves it. She's kicking ass now. I'm sure she was kicking ass back then when she was nominated for this, you know, and I was so behind that. If Willow would have won, I would have like, oh my God, I can't even believe she was nominated.
I know, right?
So I was happy with that. Were you happy with that?
Yes, and because especially now, like, you know, now that she's back on canvas, and I think she's doing a great job. I love, like I've said, I love a crazy. I love a good crazy, and she's playing a good crazy right now. So, no.
Yeah.
And I keep on forgetting that she's so young. I keep on forgetting.
Yeah.
What is she? Is she even 21 yet?
No, she's not 21. She is 20, and when she started in the show 5 years ago, she was 15.
And she's come a long way. She's come a long way. And
I have to admit that it makes me even more impressed with her as an actress when I found out her age, because I don't think if I did look up her age, I don't remember it. So I looked up her age now. I was shocked to find out that that made me even more impressed with her work as an actress, because if she was 15, she was already like giving a better performance than some of the adults on Days of Our Lives. Right. More power to you. So I was happy with that. Best actress, best supporting actress. Do you want to tell them?
Best supporting actress. It's like I have. Okay, and I remember hearing, because like I've said before, I'm coming out of a General Hospital donut hole. So I've heard that this character was actually, and I'm a big fan of Daytime Confidential, and so I remember listening to Daytime Confidential, and they kind of had issues because the character was doing something that was not cool. Like, she was trying to sleep with a male character against his will to get impregnated, and I know that they had issues with that. So I guess in a way, this is kind of a controversial choice.
Well, I mean, the thing that people have to realize is that all you need to do is show. They don't. The people that vote, that decide, they don't watch the entire season of the soap opera. Mm-hmm. Every actor, even the writing team and the directing team, I think they get to submit 2 episodes.
Right.
So all you really need to do is pick the right 2 episodes. And if especially if the other people are picking the worst episodes of their, you know, so that's what it really is. It's one of the reasons that it's kind of like, it's really kind of bullshit, because it's like, all you need is to pick the right episode. You could have, there have been times where people haven't done anything the entire year, but if they have that one episode that they're really kicking ass and they submit it, they've won. And so everybody's always shocked, like, oh my God, how come? Well, that person won because they picked the right episodes and you didn't.
Now, I'm happy about this choice, though, because I have a friend who was just in a play with this actor, and I hear that she was really nice. Because I found out he was in a play with her, like, oh my God, is she nice? And he like loved her and said she's a lovely person and she was really nice. So I'm happy she won because I hear she's nice. Tamara Braun.
Tamara Braun, and I gotta say, I wasn't shocked. I think that it was a tough competition. There were a lot of, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I would have loved for Susan Seaforth Hayes to get it, but you know, watching everybody's reels, it was a really strong competition for Best Supporting Actress. I mean, I have not watched a lot of this girl who plays Hope now on Bold and the Beautiful, but you got to admit, her clip was intense.
Yes.
And every time I've seen clips of her performance and her acting, I don't know why people hate her. I mean, I admit that I'm a big fan of the original Hope. I love Kim Mana Tuma Luda. But I'm like, this Anika Jones or whatever her name is, she can really act. I mean, at least the stuff that I'm seeing. I was surprised that she didn't get it. But the thing also is that you got to make sure that the thing with when they're looking, what they're looking for is they want to see range. So a smart thing would be to show not just like, you know, you being over the top and dramatic and crying, but you being able to show different levels and stuff. You know, that's the other thing. And that's the thing that I think that tomorrow probably, that episode that they showed a clip from was when I think Oscar was either dead or dying or whatever. And she was giving a very subtle performance. She wasn't over the top. She was just talking to him, but the pain was there. It's unfortunate that after he died, they really destroyed her character, what little there was, because part of the problem too with her in that role it was just such a horrible role. They just wanted her back on the show because she is who she is. And just like with Sarah Brown, they're creating these characters for these ex-Carlys. And I'm sorry, they're always going to be Carlys to us.
Right.
You know, I mean, they try to make that character that they gave Sarah Brown, Claudia Zacchara, she was basically like an even worse version of Carly, you know, with no soul whatsoever. And with this character, it was like almost non-existent. And yeah, the writers really effed it up because once Oscar died, instead of us seeing a grieving mother, they went like the Sunset Beach Passion Road, and they made her like she was so desperate to have another child that she drugged Drew to try to get him to sleep with her so he can impregnate her. Right. And then when that didn't work, she took advantage of what's his name, who thought he was Drew.
Franco.
The serial killer. Franco, right? So she took advantage of him. So you know that two or 3 years from now, she'll come back to the show and she'll have a kid from Franco. Right. Yeah. That's like soap opera 101. That's going to happen, people. But it's kind of like, it's so, for me, it was like kind of like, you know what? She deserves it for having to put up with the crap that they gave her. I feel like, you know what? She deserves that, I mean, because they really did not do her justice at all. I felt so bad for her. I'm like, she's so talented. Why are they giving her this lame character that's just so like, well, she was like duller than dishwater. It was just, again, this is the problem with these writers nowadays, is that they just will bring people on without really having a clear idea of who the character is and what their whole purpose is. You just can't say, all right, you're going to be playing, what's his name's mom, Oscar's mom, you know? No, have an idea who this character is. Who is she? What does she want? How is she going to fit in the canvas and interact with everybody else? That's why it didn't surprise me once he died that she was written off, because that's all she was Oscar's mom.
Right.
You know? Drew didn't remember her, and Franco wasn't really Drew. You know, so it was, I don't know. You know, and the other category that was a lot of good choices. Oh, I said the other category, Best Supporting Actor, was also a tough call. There was some, I remember correctly, there were a lot of good people, yes. But who won?
Bryton James for The Young and the Restless.
I was very happy with that. I think he's extremely talented, and I was very happy with that. So right now we're going 3 for 3 that I was very happy with. Were you happy with that?
Yes. Yes, I was.
Okay.
Actually. Because there were a couple of people on the list who I liked, but like I like Chandler Massey, but I thought that there were better people who could have been picked. I like Wally Kurth, but again, I liked both Chandler Massey and I liked their work, but I think that there were other people that I think would have been a better choice. Personally.
Yeah. Well, then we go to Best Actor. Right. And that was bizarre. For some reason, Maurice Bernard, Maurice Bernard and the girl that I can't stand from Bold and the Beautiful, they were together. And I thought that was really weird. Like, why were they together in this day of social distancing and people like she went over to his house, he went over to her house, so they live next door to each other? Like, that was really odd. I was really kind of thrown by that. I was like, why are they sitting so close next to each other?
Right.
Maybe I could have understood if it was him and Laura Wright, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even then, I'd still be like, why would we're in a pandemic. The whole reason that this is being like, you know what I mean? It just was extremely weird to me. And yet again, the Best Actor category, there was some really interesting choices and some interesting clips. You want to tell them who won? I'm letting you do that.
Jason Thompson as Billy Abbott. And
I have to say, I was happy with that. Mm-hmm. Or you weren't happy with that?
Well, no, I'm newer to Y&R. So I know that it was an addiction storyline, right? that he was nominated?
Right, well, not just an addiction storyline. He was having some kind of mental break, a fuse, where they didn't go as far as like Vicky Nikki or anything like that.
Right.
But it was borderline that. It was never done to that kind of like cartoonish thing that they used to do on One Life to Live towards the end. But it was more serious the way it was at the very beginning when Agnes first introduced the Vicky Nikki thing. And he never went into full, but he was having, his performance was extremely strong. Like I wasn't surprised because I was watching YNR, so I knew that, and I feel like it was time that he got it too, because there were many times where he should have won it for General Hospital.
Right.
You know? Where he gave like I was like, how is he not being nominated? How was he not winning? You know? So I was happy for him because I said, you know what, this is long overdue. We don't need the same people to be winning every year. We know, certain people are good. We don't need to like.
I thought it was going to be John Lindstrom.
You know what? That was my, like, if he didn't get it, I would have won. Part of me was rooting for John Lindstrom, only because John Lindstrom, I think, did such an incredible job. And I'm sorry, for me, he really carried General Hospital that year. Yeah. One of the best storylines that General Hospital had was the whole Kevin, Ryan Kevin storyline. So I was really rooting for him, and I said, well, if he doesn't get it, then it has to go to Jason. I would have been very upset if Steve Burton would have gotten. I'm sorry, I don't think he deserves to be nominated for anything.
He's kind of he's allegedly kind of in the Melissa Reeves portion of how I feel about people. Get it? Yeah,
I heard that clip. It was really weird. It just, I don't know, that clip that they play where he said what he, where he said the thing that he said. It was just very weird. I don't know why he said it. It was just really, and I don't know if he was in a room. I don't know. It's just very bizarre. You people got to look it up yourself. I can't even go into it because it was just too bizarre for words. But somebody did post it, and I listened to it, and I'm like, because you don't know who his audience was. You don't know if he was. But even if he was in a room with in a room full of people of color, I don't know if we would have taken. Like, I don't know if I would have taken that. I would have been like, "Boy, what you trying to say?" You know what I mean? Like, so it's like people look it up and then you tell me what you say.
Let's just say there was fried chicken and watermelon mint,
and planking or something like that he said. So it was very bizarre. So now writing went to.
Okay, this one I was a little surprised.
I'm going to tell you why I wasn't surprised. I'm going to tell you why I wasn't.
Okay. And I like the show. Go ahead.
Writing went to Bold and the Beautiful. And again, this goes back to what I told you. All you need is the right 2 episodes. And while Bold and the Beautiful is certainly like a bizarre show to me, watching all these like classic episodes and even watching the stuff recently before they went off the air that we started for our podcast, we started watching it. The one thing that Bold and the Beautiful does right, the one thing that Bradley Bell obviously learned from his dad on his knee was how to write the payoff. And the payoff is when you build up a storyline, which is why I have such a problem with a lot of the new writers, because they don't understand that. You build up a storyline for whatever time period, weeks, months, years even, and then the payoff happens when the shit gets revealed. And Bold and the Beautiful seems to know how to do that. Even if everything else is off, when that confrontation happens, it is on. It is on. It is like classic soap opera. It's riveting. So all they have to do is pick that episode, and then the writing looks off the hook. And that's all you really need. And they picked the episode where it seems that the reveal, Liam was confronting Tom, and it's about hope and everything, and the baby switch and everything. And even though I didn't see that episode, you could tell in the writing that it was intense. And I seen it in these classic episodes. Whenever they show these classic episodes where one character is finally confronting another, that's an Emmy win, people. And all classic soaps do that. If you look back, nothing beats when Patrick Ryan confronted Delia about her lying, about being blind and everything to keep him and Faith apart. That episode, to this day, people still talk about that episode. Douglas Marland did it all the time with Nola Reardon. Nola was always getting busted for doing the most shadiest things. And whenever she got confronted, it was like a whole episode was dedicated to her shenanigans being shot, like she was blasted out of the water. And that's the kind of thing that people love. So Bold and the Beautiful does that very well. And if those are the episodes they pick, and then again, if the other shows are not picking the best writing, or if the writing just doesn't compare, it only takes 2 episodes, people. 2 episodes.
Right.
Right. And best directing went to General Hospital, which I was not happy about, but I get it. The episode directing wise looked beautiful, I guess. I'm not a fan of that Christmas episode that I guess it was production wise. Did you see that?
No.
They did the Ebenezer thing.
I was in my donut hole.
Yeah, I just, you know what? I'm sorry. It didn't work for me as a whole. I just didn't, I don't feel that the character of Finn is that important to get his own episode.
Wait, him? No.
Yeah.
See, I always like if they did like the Ebenezer thing with the late, great, like Edward Quartermain or someone like that, or like the time on One Life to Live when they did that with Asa, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah, it just for me, it felt very forced. It didn't feel natural. I really didn't enjoy the episode as a whole. So I was kind of like, no, and they actually submitted it. If I'm not mistaken, I think they submitted it for best daytime drama. And I'm like, see, this is why Frank doesn't win a lot, because he doesn't know. I don't think he knows how to pick the right episodes. I really don't. I mean, because, there were times where One Life to Live really should have won best soap opera and it never did. And I just think Frank does not know how to pick the right episodes. Because I'm like, all the episodes that General Hospital had, and you're submitting that stupid Christmas episode, as and it's going up against like Y&R, which everybody best soap went to Y&R, rightfully so, because what did they submit? The Christoph St. John tribute episode. Hello, you're not going to touch that.
No,
you're not going to touch that. That's real. Hello.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, doing their A game, saying goodbye to one of their own, and you're going to submit a freaking episode about of fantasy? No, it's no wonder Y&R. So again, the whole year Y&R could have sucked, but all they need 2 episodes, and they picked that one. They nailed it. So they took home best soap. Bold and Beautiful had best writing. General Hospital took best directing, and the thing that was really nice was that everybody got something. Every network, every show got a little something. It wasn't like one show monopolized everything. We did skip over Best Actress, and there's a reason for that. I liked Heather Tom. I'm not upset that she won. There are definitely people that were nominated that they would have won. I would have been upset. So I can't say that I was upset. I really do wish that somebody else would have gotten it. Only
Gabriella
because,
Josefina Demera.
Well, she wasn't even nominated.
She should have been.
We, but like, I really felt like Maura West, and I know Maura West is one for General Hospital, but again, that year was the year of the Kevin Ryan thing and Kiki, and I'm sorry, Maura West deserved that freaking Emmy for that storyline.
Oh yeah.
She really did. So I was a little bit upset, but hey, if you're going to lose, at least you're losing to somebody who can act.
Right.
Because again, I forgot who the rest of the nominees were, but there were definitely, I think, 1 or 2 that I was just like, oh, what's her name? Nicole from Days of No.
And then
See, that irks me.
So,
yeah, I don't think this was Finola's strongest year either. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Finola would have won, so I was like, okay, at least Heather Tom can act. I mean, I don't know what she did, but I know that whatever she did it good. Because she's Heather Tom. Hello. Right. So I'm like, all right. So she didn't lose to somebody, So that's when I say that this for me was a great Emmys, because it was like, oh my God, we're gonna, hello. It was just like, so let's see what happens. I mean, CBS, those ratings were high. I'm sure CBS is going to want to put it up again next year.
And
because those ratings were high.
And now that I have a podcast, I'm out of my donut hole. So this time next year, I will be better informed. I will be better informed. And so I'll be able to make a better assessment this next year.
Oh, and one award was given that wasn't given during this broadcast. It was, I guess, given on the side. Best guest star on
Oh.
a soap opera. And our Eva LaRue, Maria Santos from All My Children,
Who
took
can-
it home for Young and the Restless. Ah!
Who can never do wrong, or as what did Erica say? Maria Santos, patron saint of the push-up bra.
Right, yes. Oh my goodness, All My Children. Oh my God, I just can't wait for that. But yes, Eva LaRue, and I was very ecstatic about that because I felt like why Y&R did not sign her is beyond me. I will never, to this day, I don't understand that. She had such chemistry with Peter Bergman. She was a firecracker. I started watching Y&R because I heard she was coming.
And on Daytime Confidential, from what I gathered, it sounds like by them not signing her, they completely dropped the ball because it sounded like that family was like a potential, like really good family that they basically just kind of dropped.
Well, the Latin family was brought on by Mal Young, and of course, Y&R, not to say the fans at Y&R are racist, but they weren't feeling the Latin family. There was a lot of hate towards the Latin family, and now the Latin family is all but gone. Mm-hmm. Sasha Calle, who was nominated for Best Younger Actress, she's off the show. She played Eva LaRue's daughter. Mm-hmm. I see there's only one person on there from the family now, and I don't know, Lord knows how long he'll be on. So it's kind of sad. Your people are doing a lot better than my people, girl. My people are being fired left and right. They even try to get rid of my Gabriel Josefina Hernandez de Mira. So, it's just, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. But I was very happy for Eva LaRue because, as they pointed out, this is her first Emmy.
Oh, really?
And I'm sorry.
Really?
I'm sorry. There were many times that she should have won for All My Children.
That's why.
Oh my God, how am I drawing a blank on her real name? Gabriela.
Oh,
no.
Camilla Banis.
Camilla Banis. This is why Camilla was speaking up, Chloe from General Hospital, is because over the years, the few Latins who have been in lead roles on their show, because I'm sorry, Maria Santos was a lead role. I don't know. I think there was one time she was nominated for Best Supporting, but there were many times during the course of her tenure on All My Children where she was a lead actress for that year and she was overlooked and she was not nominated. We've talked about this before. Florencio Lozano Atea, never nominated. There have been several Latins. A. Martinez definitely won. There have definitely been Latinos. There have been undercover Latinos that won because people don't realize that Maurice Bernard, I don't know why he doesn't I've never seen something where he identified as Latino, and I don't know how many people realize, but he's 100% Latino. He is not half. He is 100% Latino. He is from Latin America, I think Uruguay or something, in Paraguay too. One or both of the Guays. There's so he's 100% Latino. Right. And a matter of fact, I wrote down his real name because his name is not Maurice Bernard. Where did I write that name down? It is like 100% Latin. I can't find it right now, but if I ever find it, I'll let you guys know. But it's hysterical when I found out. And he's not the only one. Vanessa Marcel, her father is Mexican. So Brenda's half Latin, yes. Hello, her father's Mexican. And Kimberly McCullough, who plays Robin, is of Mexican heritage. Right. So, and again, I'm not judging you guys for not coming out and saying, hey, wow, we're like Latin too, But yeah, it would be nice to know that so that other Latinos can, see that we're out there, man. We are out there, and they all won Emmys. Vanessa's won an Emmy. I think Vanessa won an Emmy. Kimberly's won an Emmy, and Maurice has won an Emmy. So, but it's not enough. I'm sorry. No. It's never going to be enough. We need more Latinos in the soap operas, and we need them winning because we're fierce and we're talented. Hello.
Yeah. Speaking of
so we got a lot of...
What? No. What were you going to say? Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that, I was going to say, speaking of fierce and talented, let's go to our show.
Yes, we got a lot to review, and let's I think we can do all of them. We're gonna go through it fast, but we're gonna do all of them because I did not watch these shows not to review. Right. So let us start off with Days of Our Lives,
which once again I liked this week. It was a good week. How'd you feel?
It was an incredible week. I'm talking Monday's episode was 4 stars. If there was one episode that you had to see last week, it was that Monday episode. There was so much good stuff going on with Gabby and Rafe, Chad and Gabby, Chad and Jack, and Claire and everyone. Claire was just with everyone on Monday's episode. She was working every angle, and I was living for her. Yeah, I was just living for her. And Chad and Gabby have so much chemistry. I really like them together.
I wonder if they're going to hook up again.
I wish they would. When those characters hate each other that much, eventually they're going to throw down. And I got to tell you, he is so hot. I'm sorry, I can't. He is gorgeous. He is such a God. That test here drives me crazy. But you know what I think even more so is that I think he is so talented, and he really should be. I always get mad when Hollywood does not recognize these really fierce actors on daytime. He's somebody that Hollywood should have picked up. He should be a movie actor. He is too talented not to be doing movies. And when I think about all these actors that are doing movies, there's something about him. He's just really, really, especially when he's on. Because I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of been a little phoning it in this time around. I don't blame him. It's kind of like, I feel like I'm doing the same thing. But when he's on, he's on. And those scenes with him and Gabby, where he was like electrifying, and the scenes with him and Jack, where Jack was telling him like, no, but you're like a son. You are a son. You are my son. I just started crying. The writing was really good. Gabby and Rafe were really good. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was loving it.
And so basically, where do you want to start with Gabby?
Well, Gabby is back to her old. She's determined to prove that he is Stefan. So she's like a dog with a bone. But Chad is back, which she didn't realize. That's the way the week started off. She was like, it ended the week before that way, where she was telling Stefano's picture, I'm going to bring your son home. And Chad was like, I'm already here. And so her, and also she spent the week so determined to everybody to get this test done that she was ignoring the fact that her trial was going on. Right. So everybody was trying to give her advice and tell her like, your trial's, up, and like the 2 gays were like, oh, but and those scenes were really funny when they were trying to like convince her like, you really maybe should just put this on hold and concentrate on not. Yeah. She's gonna blow it up. She was so. Yet again, we're seeing that Gabriella is really like the new Tina Lord, and we're living for it. Yes. We're living for it.
And today, I saw today's. Oh, I can't wait for you. I can't wait to talk to you about today's. I'm gonna leave it at this. Her and Gwen finally met. Enough said.
Yeah, we can't. That's next week. We can't go there,
right? Okay,
because we're taping our episodes on Monday, so we see Monday's episode beforehand. But another great thing on Tuesday, we continue with Victor being the chairman of the board. Victor is fierce. I'm sorry, this man is like 104, and he doesn't move around. He's just sitting there, and he's giving you life. He is like slicing Brady down, putting him in his place. It was really great to watch. I mean, these veterans are so important. Another person that is just winning me over is Allie Horton. Yes. Her scenes this week with everybody, especially with her father. I'm sorry. He is so underappreciated on Days of Our Lives. Daytime Confidential did an article about him, and he calls himself the comeback kid. And he is so that and so much more. Because when he comes, he gives 200%. Yeah. And he is like on fire this week with Allie. The scenes with him and Allie were so beautiful and so layered and so textured. And this is why this actress is winning me over, because there is no awkwardness with her. I mean, you just get swept up in believing that she is Will's sister or his daughter, or you know what I mean? There's no, like, it just is, she's such a natural. So her storyline, there's like a daddy frenzy. Everybody wants her baby. Yeah. It was very kind of creepy to me.
It's like Ray, especially when,
like, Well, the gays definitely. We call them the gays. It's so funny. We can do that though.
Yes, we can.
We can. The gays definitely were like wanting that baby. I mean, it was very disturbing. And then, of course, what made it even more disturbing, because at least Rafe is the only one who didn't want the baby, and that's why he should get it, because it didn't even dawn on him that he should like adopt it, because she brought it up to him. Those scenes with her and Rafe were really great, because for those of you who don't know, Rafe kind of helped raise her, and it was really beautiful for her to remember the fact that like he was the best stepfather she ever had, because God knows I would assume that EJ wasn't her favorite person.
She's had a lot of them.
Yeah, she's had a lot of them. So it's just like, so he was the one who, and actually the advice that he gave her and everything is, she's absolutely right. Rafe is like awesome and this and that. And like so much, and like Lucas brought up a good point. It's like, it's easy for other people to, but he's her father. Right. So of course he's going to be a little bit more, but yeah, Daddy Frenzy was out of control, especially when Xander thought that it would be a great idea for him to like take the baby for Sarah. And I'm like, dude, you never learn. Never. So he was a little creepy when he was confronting Allie about the baby. And then of course, when he brought up his beautiful idea to Sarah, our girl Lindsay just lost it in one of the best performances ever.
She's like, what?
This is why she won me over, because she keeps it real. I mean, she read it. So I was like, this poor guy, he cannot catch a break.
Because he's kind of dumb. She was like the voice. That's the thing. She was the dumb. Voice.
Yeah, I mean, it was. It was, but she like was the voice of reason. I mean, like, dude, like she was just like, really, just like, oh my God, I couldn't. And then, Lucas had some really great scenes with Will and Sonny, where, I like these very real emotional scenes, where you're really getting to see, so for me, it was I thought this was a very strong week at Days of Our Lives.
Everyone's scared to Sammy. Everyone's scared.
Everyone's scared of Sammy finding out about this baby. And I gotta tell you, I'm a little conflicted, because the thing is, even though the girl who plays Allie looks really young, her character, they keep saying she's not a teenager. She's like over 21. I think her character is like 21.
She's like
or
21.
22. Yeah, they mentioned the age, and she's not a teenager. So it's that kind of a borderline thing, because if she was 16, then I would have been like, no, Sammy needs to know. But now it's kind of like, yeah, she's kind of a woman. Even though she's not acting like it and she acts a little immature, she's 21, so she kind of has a right to her privacy, honestly,
This is Sammy we're talking about.
Well, but again, this is why she keeps telling them she don't want Sammy to know, because Sammy is, a control freak. Sammy is this and that. But Days of Our Lives, besides being the only show that has new episodes,
Sammy's gonna whip some ass when she comes to town.
They really, for me, they're really delivering. I can't believe how much I'm enjoying Days. I just hope that Ron keeps it up.
I am so excited.
I hope he doesn't fuck it up.
I am so excited for Sammy to come to town and just beat people's asses. Sammy's gonna whip some ass. It's definitely gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna let's quickly go over the 3 soaps that are in reruns, and then we'll go to our British soaps. Okay. So
we have to mention
Black Excellence.
We're going to talk about double Black Excellence, okay? We had double. Y&R and Bold and the Beautiful was giving us Black Excellence this week, and I was living for it. First of all, Y&R started with a classic episode where Victor confronted his mother, Cora, played by Dorothy McGuire. And if you missed that episode, you missed everything, because she was giving me life. You have a classic Hollywood star, Dorothy McGuire, on this show playing Cora, and she was giving Oscar performance on Young and the Restless. I was living for her scene. I mean, it just was incredible. And, it's also interesting to watch these episodes because you see how people grow, because Laura Lee Bell was horrendous in this episode. This was like one of her first episodes. She has definitely grown as an actress. I mean, she was so horrible to watch. Right. She just sucked really. It's no wonder Terry Lester quit. Because the rumor is that No, the rumor is that Terry Lester quit as Jack because he felt like William Bell cast his daughter and was giving her all the airtime, and he was not having it. So, but she was awful. It really was like really horrible to watch her. But Beth Maitland, for those of you who don't know, Y&R and Bold and Beautiful were giving us Emmy episodes last week. So that Monday episode was Beth Maitland for winning Best Actress. She tried to commit suicide. And it was definitely a little bit dated. My mother pointed out that she thought it was ridiculous that Laura Lee, that Cricket comes in and instead of calling 911 or anything, all she does is like break the window and starts like telling her like, wake up and crying. And I was like, that's a good point, Mama Hudson. So I can read my handwriting about two other things. Amy's sketch open. I don't know what that means. But then Tuesday was Black Excellence. I mean, it was just incredible as we saw the Winters, doing everything that they just were. I can't read any of my freaking handwriting. It was the bad Ashley, who she really proved that she was really wrong for the role of Ashley in that episode. Nick Scott, you remember him?
Yeah, Nick Scotty, yeah.
Nick Scotty, he was in that episode. I have a personal story. I can't tell it on here, but one day we'll talk about. I'll tell you what happened with me and Nick Scotty. But Nick Scotty was on it, and I actually liked Nick Scotty, but I have to tell you, he was horrible in this episode. Like I was like, whoa, that was a really bad performance. It just was like, Alice doesn't live here anymore. What does that mean? I don't know. A good bad penny. They showed Cassie for the first time, and she was like crossing the street, and she's like, a good bad penny. It was very bizarre. Celeste Happy Hooker from Santa Barbara was there as
Celeste
what's his name's mother. Yeah, she was playing Adam's mother, and we got to see Victor with little Adam. And this again was a perfect example. I was kind of surprised that Eric Braeden, this was one of the episodes that got him the Emmy. It wasn't like he was bad, because he's never bad, but there wasn't anything really dramatic or anything like that. It was just a very subtle performance with Adam, where maybe that's what got him the Emmy, was that you got to see a different side of Victor. But that's the only time that he won the Emmy. Wednesday was again Black Excellence. Anytime that they're showing these classic episodes where we get to see the Winters all over the place, and Drusilla and Shamar, and it's just beautiful. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm not being able to read any of my handwriting. I love Lily number 2. I'm sorry. I know you don't like her, but they were showing some episodes with her, and I was just living for her. JT, seeing JT again. The Abbotts ended the week. We got to see Peter Bergman win his Emmy.
Right.
And just again, really powerful stuff. So Y&R definitely gets they get good marks for last week's episodes, because it was really some really great stories and great acting. So that's Y&R. We had a double Colleen, not a double Colleen. We had a double Black Excellent, and we had a double girl who plays Colleen also played Brooklyn. I forgot her real name for some reason.
God, I can't believe. Wait. Well, I can't believe I'm blanking on
Adrienne Leon. Yeah, so I was happy. I got like a double Black Excellence, double Adrienne Leon, because they did show her this past week as Colleen. And then Bold and the Beautiful, they started off with Scott Clifton's episode, and again, it shows you that General Hospital and One Life to Live, that was their loss for letting him go. This, in the hands of a lesser actor, this would have been like chewing the scenery, and instead he gave such a nuanced performance when he found out that Dollar Bill was his father, and I was riveted by his choices. He was just amazing to watch. But I've been a fan of his since General Hospital. When he was, do you remember I told you that I left General Hospital because they fired Jeannie? Right. I came back because of him, because I was like, I think my mom told me, they brought Tracy's son on, and I watched an episode of him, and I was like, I hadn't been that excited about a younger actor on daytime since Jonathan Jackson. And I was like, this guy is so good. And he really was great as Dylan, and he is like Bold and the Beautiful's saving grace because he's so powerful. And that episode was no wonder he won the Emmy. Then Tuesday, even though I don't know Rome, what's his name?
Rome Flynn.
I'm enjoying a
Rome
blank.
Flynn.
Rome Flynn. I knew it and I was going to say it, and then I said, no, that's wrong. They showed Rome Flynn's Emmy-winning episode, and I got to tell you, Black excellence all around. I forgot that there was a major Black family storyline on the show, and I don't know where they went.
The Avants.
Why are they not there anymore?
The Avants.
Can you tell me?
Well, the reason why I started watching it was because of the transgender storyline, because the character Maya, it was revealed that Maya was transgender, which today they would not be able to get away with that because it was played by a cisgendered woman. And so the Avants, they wrote a family around her. And so the Avants came on, which the Mama Avant was Anna Maria Horsford from Amen.
Yes, I know all about that. I want you to tell me why they're not on there anymore.
This is my big complaint about Bold and the Beautiful. They take stories, they run with the stories, and then they just drop them. So basically, the Avants just disappeared. And then Maya, who is still on the show, I guess Maya and Rick broke up off screen. So literally, the Avants just kind of disappeared into the ether, which happens on Bold and the Beautiful all the time. So we don't know. We don't know what happened to them. They're just gone. And then we know that the sister, because remember one of the storylines was the younger sister had a baby for Maya. And Rick.
Yeah.
So
they showed that was. So
they're at Forrester. They're oh, that's right, because that was one of the episodes where he was arguing with the dad, with Mr. Avant. Rome Flynn was fighting with Mr. Avant. I know that the sister and Zendi, who was the Rome Flynn, they're at Forrester Paris. They're overseas working for Forrester, the Paris division. That I know, because they bring that up from time to time. But the rest of the family is just gone.
See, that's a huge mistake, because I found them to be a lot more interesting than. Sorry, no offense to all the white people, but I find them a lot more interesting than the white people in Bold and the Beautiful. So I was riveted by that episode. I was so excited.
Her name was Nicole. Nicole.
Yes, Nicole. And Rome Flynn's ass was incredible. I gotta say it. I'm sorry, but they never showed that view.
He was wearing tight pants. He was wearing that. He was wearing tight pants when he was fighting with Mr. Avant. And Mr. Avant.
Yes, and I was like. Ooh.
And it was such a good story because Mr. Avant was a total bigot who refused to accept. The only reason he accepted Maya's transition was because she married a Forrester, so she was rich. That was the only reason why he accepted it. But other than that, he was still a bigot. He would still refer to Maya as him. And it was such a good... Horrible. And I think you've even mentioned it. We need those characters like Enid Nelson, like those bigots.
Yeah.
Who
you need that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very like. I'm like, again, every time I'm watching these classic Bold and Beautiful, I'm seeing what's missing. If I can see what's missing from the show, Bradley Bell, why can't you?
Yes.
Why can't you, Bradley? Now Wednesday was we got to see Miss Thing's episode of why she won. Miss Susan Flannery as Stephanie. Yes. And I say it with me, children. Brooke is a hoe. and remember when I was telling you about Bold and Beautiful knows how to do those confrontation scenes, right? This was a perfect example. There's no doubt that Susan Flannery was going to win with that performance that she gave. She finds out that Brooke was not only carrying on with Bridget's, a husband, she figures out that the baby that Brooke's carrying is his too. And she was done with Brooke. She was done. She looked at him and she said, "What did you do to that girl? What for the whole of Beverly Hills. I was like, word. She tapped Brooke. She pushed Brooke into the mirror. She was like, do you see that? Do you see that? Because that's no halo over your head and you're no heroine. I mean, they gave her the only killer monologue. She went off on Brooke. She's like, you're making yourself out to be the victim here. You're the hero, the heroine here. You think you're the heroine, don't you? I mean, and she just read Brooke down. And I'm sorry, this is why Brooke is a hoe. It's that simple, people. It really is. It really is. I'm like, case of the jury. The defense rests. Brooke's a hoe. That's it. It's every week they just keep proving everything that I keep saying about that character. She is horrendous. Another thing, Gia from General Hospital plays Carmen on these classic Young and the Restless episodes. She needs her braids. I don't like her hair.
Well,
braids better
hair.
When she was in General Hospital.
That's her
I know, but I like her with the braids. I don't know. I didn't like that hairdo on her. I like the braids. I think the braids flatter her. I was really feeling the braids in General Hospital. I'm not crazy about that do she had. Maybe it's just the way they styled it. I don't know.
I used to love Gia.
She just didn't. I love Gia. Well, she left. I don't think they didn't fire her. She left because then they recast her. And I actually like the second.
Did you really?
No, I didn't. I didn't dislike the other Gia, but the fans, you know what I'm going to say, right? I just think that she was too black for the fans of General Hospital. That's just my opinion, but I just felt like they hired somebody who was, not, because I think she's mixed. The other girl, Marissa Ramirez. I don't think okay. For all I know, she could be 100% Latin. The character Gia was black. Uh-huh. So, I don't know. Maybe I don't know Marissa Ramirez's sister. I don't know if she's half and half or what the deal is. But the girl that they got cast afterwards, I really liked her, and I just felt like the audience could not accept her because she wasn't,
I know.
You know how it is. You remember that show that what's his name had? Tay Diggs had a show on UPN, Kevin Hill.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the controversy about that show?
No.
Real quick, the show was about Tay Diggs played this black lawyer named Kevin Hill, and somehow I forgot. I think his sister was on crack or something, so he wound up getting custody of the baby or somebody in his family. So he was basically this single man raising this baby all of a sudden. Now in the pilot, the baby was black. And when the series got picked up, do you not know that they got a lighter baby? And people were not feeling.
Uh-oh, Jordan.
What?
Uh-oh.
What?
So Wikipedia says Marissa Ramirez is an American actor who plays Detective Marina Bays on Blue Bloods. Jordan. So her ethnicity is Irish, Mexican, Scottish, French, German, English, and American or Native American. What's missing? Something's missing.
Yep. See? See what I'm telling you? And then they cast a black actress in the role, and all of a sudden the fans can't accept it. But anyway, what was that? So I'm not gonna say no more.
Okay,
so
we're like
Bold and the Beautiful. So Bold and the Beautiful. Then continue with. They showed us Steffi, who I really can't stand this actress. The only thing that I will say in her defense is that when I see the episodes from her first 2 years, there's definitely been some improvement, but in no way does she deserve to win an Emmy. That I won't say that her performance was horrendous or she wasn't, but it was so over the top. If anything, Scott Clifton carried that scene for me. I mean, he was riveting to watch in that scene when he was confronting her. She wasn't doing anything that any other actress couldn't have done. And when you're getting an Emmy, it should be because you are above. You are raising the bar. She did not raise the bar. She gave a pedestrian performance. There was nothing spectacular about it for it to win an Emmy. I think it's disgusting that she slept with her father, because that was the big reveal. And Scott Clifton was giving you he was giving you telenovela response to that.
Right.
Like, his face was like, he had all these like really bizarre facial expressions. I'm like, ooh, he went telenovela at that very end. But it's again, one of the reasons that Bold and the Beautiful creeps me out is that everybody slept with everybody. And I know that happens,
but it's
but
LA.
not the way it does on Bold and the Beautiful.
It's LA.
Not the way.
We're not.
Is that really how it is out there?
No. But I mean, okay, in Salem, I get it if you sleep with your step, because it's a small town. This is LA. There are millions of people you can sleep with. Millions. So I don't get the Forresters either. Millions. Yeah,
I don't. It's a creepy. They also showed Sally with Thomas during the week, and I thought Sally and Thomas were hot together. Even though that Thomas is a little creepy, he could actually act, and the two of them were really good together. That's why it makes me so disturbed that before we went to pandemic and they stopped showing the episodes, that she was like scheming to get Wyatt of all people. I'm like, ugh, whatever. And then we saw Heather Tom get her Emmy for and Heather, like I said, Heather Tom can act, so it was, it didn't surprise me.
Sally reminds me
she gave
of?
A killer. Who?
Gina Tognoni.
I can see that. I see a little Gina. You're right. I do see that. I see that. I could see that. I could definitely see that. I agree with you there. That's a definite,
I love Gina Tognoni. Love her.
Rumor was that at one point they were thinking of when Sarah Brown left, they were thinking of her or when Tamara left. One of the times, whichever one, before Laura Wright took it over, there was rumors that they wanted Gina to come on. She would have slayed as Carly. Oh my God, could you imagine her?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, she would have. Oh shit! It would have been like. So that leaves us with General Hospital, which I have to say I was actually kind of surprised, because not so much that, what surprised me was that all the episodes from last week were older episodes. They weren't classic, they weren't 90s episodes, but at least they weren't Frank Valenti episodes. They were actually episodes from the 2000s. So we actually got to see characters and people that we haven't seen in forever. So they started the week off right, and they actually kept it, going on. And I got to tell you, I like I told you before, I've said this a million times, I stopped watching General Hospital when that horrendous woman, Jill Farren Phelps, fired my Jeannie Francis. And I did come back for Dylan. And at the same time, Sam and Jason got together. And I did like Sam and Jason at the beginning. I did like the way they fell in love and everything. And I was a fan of theirs for at the beginning. They just annoy me now because it's overkill. But, we got to see the first time they actually met. So this was like a really, really classic episode. And I don't know, but everybody looks better when they're not on HD, because everybody looks flawless. This was not an HD episode, obviously. HD does not. You could see every nook and cranny and wrinkle and crease. I don't know why they're all about HD, because HD captures everything. Right. And when you look at these classic episodes, they all look flawless. They all look like they went to Susan Lucci's doctor, and they all look classic and fabulous. I'm like, see, HD's the enemy, people. It really is. And I was amazed at seeing all of them. They all look good. Jack, I forgot that. I didn't forget, but Jax and Sam, when they brought Sam on, she was originally placed with Jax, with Ingo, and I guess they didn't really heat up or anything. And then they put her with Sonny, and that didn't seem to be going well either. And then they finally put her with Jason, and that's when she clicked. Right. But it was really weird seeing how young everybody looked, seeing how young Jax looked, and yeah, it was just really interesting. I also stopped watching at one point when they started glorifying the violence on General Hospital. I remember an episode where Sonny and Faith were at war, and they were shooting up a church, and that's when I'm like, I gotta stop this show, because that was, to me, was just disgusting. But we also got to see one of what's her name, Maxie's first love interest, this cop. And again, I really liked him, and he vanished from the show. I think Brian something or other was his name. I don't know if it was it, but he, Sean Benson, that was it. No, I can't remember his name. But anyway, he was a cop that was in love with her, and he was on for like a year. He was Lucky's partner. And Kristen Bell's Maxie was so nice and not annoying the way she is now.
Right.
It's like, it's so interesting to see how they took these characters and made them so almost like caricatures. Like, I forgot that at the beginning, Maxie was kind of different, and it was really great to watch her performance. Another character that came out of the blue was Sean Benson, who played Steven Weber for a year and a half to 2 years. And I really loved him, and him and Carly had so much chemistry, but rumor was that Tamara did not like him.
Oh.
And he was eventually booted from the show.
Because
and that's a shame because they really, supposedly they didn't get along. They supposedly had different acting styles or something. That was always the rumor. We didn't get no confirmation, but,
right.
But I really liked him. He played Steven, his Canadian actor.
What does it mean, different acting styles?
I just think that's just a term for like, I don't like you.
Okay. Because I'm an actor. Because
honestly, we all have. We all have different acting styles.
I'm an actor.
And
you just show up and do it. And someone else shows up and does theirs.
Look, my favorite story, and I don't know how true this was, but I always read this story where supposedly when Dustin Hoffman was like really young, he met Charlton Heston, and he was like standing out and like, oh, you're so great, and like, how do you do it, and what's your method? And Charlton Heston just looked at him and said, just say the fucking line. Whether that's an exaggerated story or not. Right. I always love that story because I'm like, because to me that's what it's about, people. It's just like, I honestly, I do think that acting is a personal thing, and whatever you need to do to get there, you do it on your own. But you shouldn't be forcing your method or something on another actor. It's like and for me, it's the kind of thing of like, I just do it. I learn my lines, I become that character, and I don't and I think too many actors overanalyze something to death. Because if you start doing that, there's like a million ways to play something. And you can go crazy trying to figure out how to deliver a line. If you're in the moment and you feel it, like, because one of the things that I'm notorious for, people love, is that I can cry on cue. And I've always told people, because they're always like, how do you do that? Like, one girl told me, like, do you poke your eye? And I'm like, look at her, like, you're stupid.
You poke your eye.
I'm like, if I'm in an emotional scene, and especially with a play, if I'm doing this thing where, like, for 2 hours, I'm like this and Death of a Salesman, how can I not be crying at the end after everything,
Right.
Especially if you're invested and you're in the moment, That's the difference. I think the only difference that I can see with actors is that some actors work internally and some actors work externally. And that sometimes can cause a little friction. But I think when actors say that, it's usually because they just don't like each other. Okay. And that's what I heard. I heard that she didn't like him. And that wasn't the only one. Supposedly, they brought on Scotty's long-lost son, Logan, who I also like. And I remember that. And him and Julie Marie, who played Lulu, did not get along, and that's the reason he was axed. They supposedly really did not get along. Like, that was like a known fact. Like, it was just like out there that she did not like him, and he was booted. Because at the end of the day, she was Luke and Laura's daughter. Right. They also showed that horrible Nicholas storyline where there was like a Nicholas's like doppelganger. That was horrible. I never did care for Courtney or Emily. I thought they were so boring and bland. That second Emily, I'm a big fan of Amber Tamlin. So seeing that second Emily, she's not the worst actress, but she's kind of like, and right. Courtney was like very, I was like, oh, I don't know how she lasted as long as she did. She lasted a while. Yeah, I mean, my favorite thing was when we got to see Adrian Leone as Brooklyn, and they started showing the teens again, because I really was invested in, and that's when we saw Maxie's boyfriend, the cop. I really did love those storylines and stuff, and it makes me feel like they really made a mistake by making Lucas gay, because one of the things was before Lucas came out, when what's his name was playing it. What's the name of the actor who plays it now? I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. And I'm in love with him. Ryan. Oh, Ryan. Oh, Ryan. Yeah. Ryan Carnes. Yeah. Ryan Carnes. Supposedly, they always said that he quit the show because he found out the character was going to become gay, come out as gay, and that's why he quit. That whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that was always the rumor. Ryan Carnes. Yeah, Ryan Carnes. When he quit, Drake Hogerson's stepson took over the role, and that's when the character came out. But when Ryan Carnes was playing it, he was involved with Adrian Leone as Brooklyn. And I thought they had so much chemistry. And as much as I, of course, would love him to play gay because I fantasize that he is gay in real life and we get together in real life, but I was like, no, I want him to be straight because they had so much chemistry, and I really felt like they dropped the ball. And then they just started writing these characters off. You know, they had Diego, Jesse, that was the name of the cop that was with Maxie. You know, and I was really loving those episodes and seeing those characters again because they really, you know, it just was really interesting to watch. And I don't know if I really wanted to time the episodes too, because I find it really strange that the scenes were longer. There were a lot more storylines going on, a lot more actors on each episode. And if they're the same time as the episodes now, why are the episodes now so like weird with, you know, the time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really weird. Because these are classic episodes they're showing. They still have to have the same amount of time for their advertisement. It's not like we're going to show a 50-minute episode this time. We're going to have 10 minutes to commercial. No. So it's kind of interesting because I'm fascinated how these shows, these older episodes, have the episodes really long with several cast members. You know, I don't know. And then we got to unfortunately see James Franco as Franco.
Ugh.
I could have done without that.
Right.
I was not a fan of his. I wasn't a fan of that storyline. But it was good to see Jonathan Jackson as Lucky again. I really wish that I would have seen Siobhan. Do you remember? Did you watch? You didn't watch.
Where?
They had
Siobhan?
brought on this girl to be his girlfriend, Siobhan. And
I remember.
She wasn't Irish in real life. The actress was just really talented. I thought that her accent sounded really good. And I actually liked Lucky and Siobhan, but supposedly I think he's the reason she got fired, because supposedly he was adamant that when he was coming back, it was because he wanted to work with Liz. He actually said it. And I think that was one of the reasons that he was disappointed, was that it didn't seem to be that's where they were going. You know, they were breaking them up again, and, you know, and then he wound up leaving again. So, you know, and they killed her off. And I thought that was a mistake because I really liked Siobhan and Lucky. I felt like Liz ruined it by sleeping with Nicholas. It was a great storyline, and Jonathan Jackson played the hell out of it when he confronted them. But I just, again, when you start making characters just do shit for no reason other than you're trying to create drama, that's no fun. You know, all of a sudden, out of all these...
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was basically what I was saying.
Well, no, because I was watching one of those locker reports, and it was an As the World Turns reunion, and they were talking about Douglas Marland, and they said that Douglas Marland had this sign like over his desk or something that said "People, not plot." And you know that it's like. And so, like, when I hear stories like that, it's like, it's true. It's about the people. And the plot comes from their behavior, you know?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he was known for having a whole list of, you know, things that writers should do when they're writing a good story. And, yeah, and he's absolutely right. And I feel like at that point in General Hospital, they just didn't know what to do with people. So they would break them up and have them sleep with, all of a sudden, Sam is sleeping with Lucky. You know, I mean, Jason's the love of your life. How the hell did you wind up with Lucky? And how did you become a psychopath? Right. Because at that point, she was also doing crazy shit. And again, you're just making these characters do things for dramatic purposes. There's no, and see, at least when I'm watching the British soap operas, like, there's always reasoning for why their characters are behaving that way.
Good segue, Jordan.
Yeah, because we know we're feeling all of them now. I'm feeling all of them.
Right. So I guess we can go from Port Charles to Weatherfield and Coronation Street. What did you think of Coronation Street last week?
I loved it. Again, Coronation Street. I mean, I forgot one of our listeners is not feeling Coronation Street that much. I think it's Daryl. I think Daryl's like, he feels like, especially because he's a big Eastenders fan, so he feels like Eastenders has more action in the Coronation Street. But see, that's the reason I love Coronation Street, because to me, it reminds me of classic All My Children. You know, it's dealing with social issues, and it definitely, I feel like in comparison to the other British soap operas, it's the slower paced one, and that's not saying a lot because to me they're not really slow pace when you compare them to an American soap opera,
right.
you know, but it's the most that's like Agnes. And I just, this week had was VE,
VE Day,
in the
yes.
show.
Yes.
VE Day, and I love that they wheeled out all the older characters and they were talking about it, and then even the younger characters, they were reminding them what VE was, and that really hit home in my heart.
Right.
Hearing all that, you know, hearing them, you know, talk about why VE is important and why people need to still remember it, and I thought that was just so beautiful because you don't really see shit like that on American soaps anymore. That was very classic soap opera for me, so I was loving that. I really was. And your girl Shonda was hysterical this week with David. Her and David were they were worth the price of admission. I swear to God, I was living for their scenes. So well written, so well performed, so much chemistry, and it kind of reminded me of Another World. There was a time where Another World did a similar thing, but they played it off for laughs. Now this is more serious on Coronation Street, where Rachel got shot by Carl by accident, and she lost her memory, and she didn't remember Mac. And so it was kind of a similar thing where, like, she was like, I'm married to this old man. And Mac was like, he was trying to, you know, and it played out just for a short time and they went back to normal. But
what I love about this, though, is with Shona, she's actually not acting out of character. That's how she was when she first came on the show. Mm-hmm. That's how she was. She came, because that was her first scene, was David was in a bar and she pickpocketed his wallet. And that's how they met. And so when she first came on the show, she was like a troublemaker and stuff. And then in order to redeem her, she got a job with Roy. And that's how she started to get redeemed. So it's kind of cool that they basically didn't go against type. They just basically reverted her to before she was redeemed.
Right. Well, I think they've established that she hasn't lost all her memories. It's just from a certain time period that she doesn't remember. So she is still her. She just doesn't remember the things that happened in the last few years, because she remembers her son, but she remembers her son as a little kid. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely like a fixed point. But I have to tell you, the actress is incredible. Mm-hmm. She's doing, again, I think that's the thing that I love about the British soap operas too, is that for the most part, all four of them cast people that can act, and that's important for me. It's one of the things that really disgusts me about American soap operas, how all you need to do is be good looking to get cast in an American soap. Where here, they're casting people, you know, except for Hollyoaks. You got to admit, Hollyoaks is like the closest. Okay. Hollyoaks is the closest to the American soap operas, because everybody there is like drop dead gorgeous. Right.
Oh, I call it eye candy oaks.
Yeah, it's definitely Hollyoaks or Thottyoaks, or it's they're the most closest to an American soap opera.
Quick question for you: what did you think about your boyfriend on Coronation Street this week?
Yes, I was just going to mention, because that was one of the other storylines this week. He finally called up his hooker. We don't know if they slept. I mean, we're assuming that they did the deed, but they didn't show that. Right. He wound up talking to her and opening up to her, and it's interesting because I like them. I think they have chemistry, and I don't want her to just be like, I want them together. Like I feel like they had a lot of, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, it wasn't like they had like a chunk of the episodes out of the 3 this week. The scenes were very like to the point, but their performance made them so real. He was so brilliant. He had one scene where he had no dialogue, but his facial expression spoke volumes. And that's why I'm loving these British soap operas, because it's all story. That's what the American writer, it's all character driven stuff. It's not plot. It's just like, and I thought he was brilliant this week. I loved watching him. And when he came out with that robe and it was just a little open, I almost died.
Mm-hmm. I thought about you during that scene. I'm
like, Rob Mallard, you have to meet me. I think we would be incredible together. You're my husband.
Well, but think about it. You have a shot.
Do I?
Well,
you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me that he used to date the guy on the show who plays the gay guy, the priest person.
Yeah.
They used to date in real life.
Yeah.
So he likes the older guy. So I have a chance.
So, okay, so now what did you think about the Carla Peter thing this week?
Oh, I love them. Carla, again, another one. Just riveting to watch. You know, she confronted Peter because she assumed that Peter did it, but you called it. You said it was the other guy, and it was him. It was him, but Peter got really offended that she assumed that it was him. And it just, again, it's amazing to me that the how so much is said in between lines. You know, and she's another one of those actors that her face says it so much, it speaks volumes. So when her and Shonda on, I love them. There isn't one person on Coronation Street that I dislike. The one thing that I will tell you is that Seth Buckley, who I love desperately, but Seth thinks there's too many people on General Hospital. Seth, you could not handle these British soap operas, because every time I think that I've met the entire cast, I find these people that I've met. Who is she? Italian or Spanish? That girl?
Oh, Alina.
Selena, is it Selena? Alina?
No, she's Polish, and so her storyline was that she was being human. She was part of a human trafficking storyline.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the guy who she had the crush on, or who they like each other, he saved her from the human trafficking, and then the character left the show, and then they wrote her. She was so popular, they brought her back. So this is her coming back to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so while she was gone, he started dating Emma, the biracial girl. And so so that's how that's set up. So I like the fact that with this triangle, there is no villain, because they didn't break up because, like, the reason he and Alina, the only reason they broke up was because she left. And so the human trafficking people, it was almost kind of like she was in witness protection because the people were criminals. And so that's why she left. That was the only reason why she left. She didn't leave because they had a fight already.
Yeah.
And so, and then even with her acting is kind of weak, but I give her a pass because English is not her first language. So she's like doing double duty, you know?
Yeah, I don't mind her. I mean, she's not going to be doing like, she's not going to be doing Medea on Broadway anytime soon, but she's good. She's a lot better than Willow.
Right.
I'm liking her a lot more than Willow and some of American actresses, but it's just amazing to me how, like, I think every time I think that I've seen all the characters.
Fizz and Tyrone came back this week. The woman with the curly red hair and the guy who I think is cute. Now Tyrone is cute.
Yeah, there are other characters that I haven't seen yet. So it was funny. That's what I'm saying. Like, Seth's head would explode. He'd be like, "Oh my God, there's too many characters." I find it fascinating because I'm able to just really follow everything. It doesn't faze me in the least.
But here's the difference.
Because you know why?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that the reason is that these characters are all real characters. You know, they're not just there. They're real characters with real personalities, with real human beings almost. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like, I find them fascinating to watch.
But this is what I noticed about, and this is why I think they can get away with having such a big cast. Basically, what I've noticed about Coronation Street is everyone gets a turn. You get your front burner storyline, and then you're back burnered for like 6 months. And then the new group of people come, they get their front burner storyline. But everybody, they share the wealth on that show really well. Everybody gets a front burner storyline. Everybody. And then you're back burnered, or they don't see you for a couple of months, which is good to kind of cool them off, you know? Like when you're front burnered, you're on every day. But then you get like a little cooling off break. And I like the fact that they literally just rotate. So that's why you don't get sick of the bloated cast, because they really share the wealth really well. So like Tyrone and Fizz, they were at one point, they had just 6 months ago, they were in the front burner storyline. And, you know, because someone came, like Fiz's ex-husband's, or her husband who died, his daughter came back for revenge. So they were going through that. So I do like that though. And I think that's the problem with the American soaps is you have a bloated canvas, but you don't spread the wealth. Like in oh no, go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, that I was going to say that's the way soap operas, American soap operas used to be was exactly the way the British soap operas, where everybody, you'd have one storyline front burner, somebody would be in the back burner. Then when that storyline ended, the back burner storyline would pick up and they'd take front and center. And American soaps still do that now. Where now, especially on General Hospital, you got certain characters. They just monopolize the show, and everybody knows about the Frightful Four on General Hospital, which is Sonny, Carly, Jason, and Sam. For some reason, every executive producer thinks with all four of them. You know,
right? Like Leanne, for example. Leanne hasn't been on in I'd say 3 or 4 months. And then they bring, so her story, which I'm sure she's gonna. Oh, I found out there's British Soap Opera Awards. So I'm sure she's going to be nominated for a bunch of awards.
She was brilliant this week. We didn't mention that. That storyline was in full focus this week when they tried, the baby's daddy was him and his woman were trying to take the baby out, and Leanne wasn't having it at first, and she read her. She was just like, hey, and then Leanne agreed to it, and they all went out for an outing, and the little boy actually said, moo, he was making the sound of the animals. They all got excited about that. Uh-huh. But unfortunately, the way the week ended was the doctor was just like, the results are finally in. And the doctor doesn't seem like they're going to be good results. So
I watched it today. Get your tissues out.
Oh Lord, see, but this is what I love. This is what I love about Coronation Street. It's just these real slice of life storylines with these real characters. There's no craziness, there's no being possessed by the devil or anything like that. And while they may have a mafia storyline, there's no shoot ups at churches and stuff like that. At least not yet. I hope not. It's just real people living their lives. Right. Like when Gemma ran into Shonda, I thought that scene was so hysterical.
Right.
And then when Shonda tried to kiss her caretaker, her caseworker, and David walked in, I was just like, oh my God. I mean, you're just really good writing, good acting. That's all I want. I want to be entertained. I want to just get lost. And the British soap operas are killing me because I'm loving all 4 of them.
Now, Emmerdale. Did you see
Well,
Emmerdale?
wait, before we get to Emmerdale, I finished the final 3 episodes of EastEnders, and I gotta say, what a way to go to cliffhanger. That final episode, that final scene where Phil thinks that he's gonna get the bar, and they were like, well, we found another buyer, and he's like, and it's his woman, Sharon, who he was trying to backstab. Right. And the final scene was her looking at him, and she's like, hi, Phil. And it was a close-up of her, and I was like, work. If that's your last episode and you're going out on a bang, because all I kept thinking about was like, I can't wait till this comes back.
Well, it's going to be a reboot and a time jump. I guess they're doing a time jump. Well, I don't
know. That's what they said, but Jonathan said that that's not true. Okay. And I don't understand why they would do that, because honestly, I disagree with that article. I love all the storylines on EastEnders. I mean, I'm mad because I told you guys on the last podcast that BritBox has episodes going back 2 years, but when I went to go start seeing them, none of them are there. It says this video is not available. So why do you have it up there? That's so not fair. So I can't go back to April 1st of 2019 to see Ben's first day. I'm very upset about that. I'm very upset. But you suggested that I try to find it on either YouTube or Daily Motion. So that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm loving me some EastEnders. I'm loving me some Coronation Street. Yes, I'm loving me some Emmerdale. We can talk about Emmerdale.
Right.
Those lockdown episodes are killing me. I love them.
So just so you know, everybody, good news. Regular episodes of Emmerdale started today. The full cast.
Really?
Yeah. Today was a full cast episode. So
wow.
And they're all social distanced. It's kind of cool how they did it. because they had full cast. They had the actors, and they were totally like social distance and stuff. It was very cool how they did it.
But wait a minute, how are they already shooting, and why are the other soaps not shooting them? That's interesting.
Well, I think what they did is after the lockdown episodes, because Emmerdale is down to 2 days a week, I think. Like it went from 6 days. It went from 6 days to 3 days to 2 days. So it's only on Mondays and Wednesdays now. And so it wasn't like a big cast, but there was like 10 people in this episode. And there were no extras. And actually, no, I take that back. There were extras because there was one scene that was set in a hotel. But so I think that they're filming, but they're filming with safety guidelines. And I know with Coronation Street, and I think it's the same with Eastenders, all of the actors who are 60 and over are not shooting. It's only like the younger cast. So anybody.
Well, then Hollyoaks won't have a problem because Hollyoaks is like the Logan's Run soap opera. Once you get to be a certain age, they fire you.
Seriously.
Everybody's young on Hollyoaks. Hollyoaks, like I said, Hollyoaks is the closest out of all the British soaps. That's the one that's like the most American. There's hardly any older people. It's not a very generational show. It's very geared toward the younger crowd, and like everybody is like drop dead gorgeous.
Everybody.
It's the closest to an American soap, but we'll talk about that. Let's talk about Emmerdale because I love those 2 lockdown episodes. Yet again, I felt like they were really smart to balance it out. One episode was deep without being too deep, and then the other one was deep, which that's been like a recurring thing with these lockdown episodes. One episode was very, very heavy that is going to make you cry. The other one is just very deep. So they did that again. That first episode with the husband and wife was very
chatty. Chaz and Patty, and their whole storyline was they were older. She got pregnant. She lost the baby. She had to carry the baby to term, but she knew the baby was going to die, but had to carry it to term. And then she had the baby, and then she miraculously got pregnant again. And this baby survived. So they're dealing with being new parents. But basically what happened is the dad, Patty, he was so broken up from the last baby dying. He has like all of this anxiety. And then he also messed up, and through a series of events, he was out shopping with the baby and forgot the baby in the car. And and then someone found the baby, and the cops took the baby, like it was a whole thing. So he is still dealing with the guilt and anxiety from forgetting the baby in the car and all that stuff. So they've been kind of disconnected as a couple for a while. And so this was basically about them getting connected, but at the same time, and I know this too from experience, when you're married and you're with the same person day in and day out, it gets a little, interesting. So I identified with that episode like 100%.
Well, I took from it, and I could be wrong, but I took from it that I don't think they are going to make it. She seems to, by the end of the episode, it seems that she kind of, because it seemed like she was trying to tell him things aren't okay, and he just was like, so like, that's why I found the episode so interesting, because it was just like the other husband and wife. It was very deep. There was a lot of moments that were very like what real couples go through, And I was just getting the feeling that she was just coming to the realization that this is not working out for her, I mean, and that's the other thing about these British soap operas. Why are all these hot women with these really like kind of guys?
Right.
I'm like, in what universe would she be with him? Because she's hot. Like,
she's really hot.
And he's kind of not. So I'm like, no offense. I'm sure he's a nice person. I mean, maybe that's what she likes him.
And the thing is, she's like a woman of a certain age and hot too. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, he definitely better do whatever he needs to do to keep her, because she's definitely, that's so cruel, that's so vain. You know, he could be you know what? He could be like, maybe she likes him for his personality, or maybe he's just hung. Who knows? I don't know. But it's just a recurring thing on these British soap operas, right. except Hollyoaks.
so then the next episode was actually really good. So because it was Marlon, the person with your favorite name, Ellis. It was Marlon, Ellis, and Al. And so the reason why this was such a good story is because Ellis's mom used to be married to Marlon. She was like the first black dingle before the other black dingles showed up. And so, so Al was her ex-husband. And when Al came to town, the reason why Marlon and Jesse broke up is because Jesse had sex with Al, and Marlon found out about it. And so that's why they broke up. And Marlon and Al had like hated each other ever since. And Ellis, because Al is basically a new character. So Marlon was Ellis's stepdad, and Marlon has always treated Ellis like a son, like his son. Like he took him in, he lived in the house. And so Marlon, Ellis, and Al are all stuck in the house together. And so what I liked is basically Marlon and Al ended up hashing out their beef. You know, they ended up totally hashing this out. And I actually liked that.
Oh yeah, it was. That's what I'm saying. It was a very like deep, got me teary-eyed at some points with some of the performances and the writing. It was, again, these lockdown episodes were really well done, and I don't know if the American folks could have pulled something like this, honestly.
And I do like
because I don't.
Because I was going to say that, like, so I guess I don't think that Marlon and Al are going to hate each other anymore.
Well, yeah, you know, it's one thing to like be locked up with somebody and understand where somebody's coming from and see them a different side. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be best friends, but maybe you'll see them in a different light. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. You know, but I again was very fascinated with it. I was very like just wow, blown away by it in every way. And I watched yet another episode of older Emmerdale, and it's just so funny to watch it because it's so dated. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's just like it's obviously 1994. So it's just like just everybody's clothes, the way they're acting. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, some of the actors are very stiff. It's definitely not, like the acting now. It's right. I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it. It's not like I'm not quite up with it. But even in the writing, like the storylines are so like 1994, and so it's kind of funny to be watching it. But I looked up. I'm 32 episodes away from the plane crash. So
okay.
It's not. Yeah, it's not that it's boring at all. It's not. It's just it's just like any soap opera when you watch it like 20 years ago. It's some pieces of it are going to seem like dated, but it's still entertaining. Like it's not like I'm bored, like or anything like that.
The plane crash is the reboot, and I think they killed off like half the characters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking through with it because I want to see that. I'm like, you don't get a chance like that. I'm like, and unlike last year's Eastenders, this is actually visible to us. Right. I'm still mad at BritBox because if you're not going to have the episode, then just take that down. It's so misleading.
Right.
Now we saw Hollyoaks this week. You were determined to watch it. Okay. The current episode. So you got on Daily Motion, and you don't know Hollyoaks at all, right?
I don't know it. But
see, I have a little history with it.
I love it.
You love it? Okay. I have a little history. I was hooked. I got hooked onto it a few years ago when the Roscoe brothers were on. They were like the McCleary brothers for Search of Tomorrow. Uh-huh. They were like one hot brother after another. And I was like, who are these guys? And those guys alone had me hooked on Hollyoaks. The thing with Hollyoaks, though, is like there's such a high turnover. I don't think anybody laughed.
Really?
Yeah, they run their course like a year or two, and then like, because even now watching this episode, there maybe like are a couple of characters that are still there from when I watched it, and it's definitely some, but it doesn't have the same kind of family feel that these other soaps have. It's definitely a younger soap. It's geared towards a younger audience, so like they're constantly. But when I was watching it, one of the big storylines was the gay teacher, John Paul McQueen, who was part of the McQueens were a huge family, and now I think John Paul might be the only McQueen left. But his character was actually raped by one of his students, a high school, junior high school student, and it was a powerful. Yeah, it was a very powerful storyline on the show, and I was riveted watching it. The way they did it, the way that the kid had a lot of. No, the kid had a lot of issues. Like, he was having a lot of home issues and stuff going on and stuff. And John Paul was trying his best to help him, but he was just really like nasty with John Paul, calling him names. And then it built up to this one day where he just really like let loose. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he hit John Paul over the head with something and knocked John Paul out. Wow. And then he like just unzipped his pants and went at it. Wow. And the way they filmed everything afterwards, like when John Paul got up and realized what happened, and when I forgot who found him, somebody found him that he knew, and was like they took him to the police, and like he had to go through the whole thing, and then there was like a whole big thing afterwards, and that's I lost all that because Hulu. I was trying to catch up, and Hulu wound up taking all that off. So I never got to see all that, but I did read up on it. And like this storyline went on for a while. There was a whole trial. The character actually came back a few years after I guess serving time and stuff. Right. And he was trying to get John Paul to forgive him or something like that. But his family wasn't, like, his mother, of course, was accepting him, but the sister was like, she didn't want to have anything to do with him. And it was just riveting. Like, so Hollyoaks is not flaky, even though they gear towards a lot of young, but like he's there. Nancy, the woman whose husband died of drugs, the one that was like flipping out, that character. Yeah, that character was there from when I watched it long ago. So it was just like her and John Paul and Sienna, the woman that was trying to get her job back. Yeah. Those are like the only, like, all those other characters are like almost all brand new to me. I don't know who any of them are, but I was fascinated with it. Hollyoaks is that kind of show that just like it sucks you right in. It just really does.
The guy that likes John Paul. The guy that likes John Paul. Oh my!
He's new.
God.
He's new. He's new. God. And I'm trying to find out. I can't find out if he's married. I've been looking on the internet trying to find out. He is like perfection. Is he not like the most perfect looking human being on the face of the earth?
Like perfect. Perfect.
I was actually gonna start watching Hollyoaks again because of him, because I didn't even know John Paul was back, because he keeps leaving and coming back. So I saw on YouTube somebody had put like their first meeting or something, and I'm like, wait a minute, John Paul's back? And then when I saw him, I'm like, his name is Officer Kiss. The actor's real name is Callum. I don't know his last name, but he's the Detective George Kiss or whatever. He is like the most gorgeous freaking perfection. Like, that is like, oh my God. I mean, that smile. Right. Oh my God. So yes, I'm definitely going to be watching Hollyoaks. He just started in January, so Hulu should have all the Giants. I'm going to start watching from January to see when he first came.
Juliet looks like trouble, who I like. Juliet looks the kids with the drugs.
I read up on her. She had a big storyline when she just joined the show like a year ago. Her character had a big storyline. It seems that she was dating the boy that was helping her sell the drugs, but then she wound up breaking up with him because she came out as a lesbian, and supposedly it was a very powerful episode that took the whole up. I think they extended the episode maybe, and it took like the whole episode. But she's a lesbian, and that explains why she's so into what's her name, the other girl,
the one that she was fighting with.
Yeah, the one she was fighting with, because she has a crush on her. So let's see how that plays out. And that character grew up on the show.
She rocked a good side pony. The other girl? No, the girl she was fighting with.
The other girl grew up. And you haven't met Stu. Stu's still on the show. Stu is Stu is a gay character who came on straight, but then he came out as gay, and he's been gay. And Stu has been in more drama than the Capwell sisters, the Buchanan sisters, and Star Manning combined.
Oh,
Stu has been through more drama than all that. You haven't met Stu yet. And there's this. I also know that there's this hot South Asian guy on the show who is just breathtaking. You could see him in the opening credits, and I looked up some of his storyline because I was like, wow, they got the South Asian guy on who's gorgeous. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be watching Hollyoaks now.
I like Ollie. I like Ollie. Poor Ollie.
Oh, poor Ollie. He's so cute. I like Ollie too. I was just like, and his girlfriend is I think her character is black or mixed. That they didn't show her this week, but she's in the opening credits. You can see her with him.
A+ for their opening credits. They get an A+.
I love Hollyoaks, and they always update it when the cast change. They always update. They don't just update the cast, but they also update the graphics. Like you can go on YouTube and see all the different. I love going on YouTube and seeing the different years and stuff. But Hollyoaks always has like the hottest fucking cast. It's like
seriously.
They are like drop dead gorgeous. It's just like. Hollyoaks. So now we're watching like the four main. Does Britain have any more stuff? We're watching all of them. We're watching Emmerdale.
I think we're watching all of them. Oh, and then So then my husband and I'm like, no. My husband's like, oh, so you're gonna watch Neighbors? And I'm like, no.
We can't watch Neighbors. I mean, maybe Neighbors is on Daily Motion. I love Neighbors, but they don't have it on Hulu anymore. They used to have it on Hulu.
We are watching 8. Man. We're watching 8 shows. 8.
Okay, that's where we're drawing the line.
8.
That's where we're gonna draw the line. We're gonna leave it at that. Oh, Maurice Bernard's name is Mauricio Jose Morales.
Well, there you go.
So you don't get he is Salvadorian and Nicaraguan. I knew I wrote that down. So see, he's 100% Latin. And you know what I forgot to tell you? The daytime Emmys. Who knew that Alfonso Ribeiro is still working? He hosts a game show.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him.
And do you watch that web series The Bay?
I do not, and I've been
How is it that show won?
It's been winning awards for years.
I know, but see, this is a perfect example. That clip they showed was so awful. That lead actor who's like the producer and the writer and creator, that Andrew Kristoff, every little clip I've seen of him, he's been so like, I don't know, maybe you got to watch the whole show to see how great he is, but the little clips that I've seen, he's so not, but yet they always seem to win. But meanwhile, they were showing some really good shows, and I was surprised that the Bay took the award. When you're looking at those clips, I'm like, I would not be giving the best web soap, whatever, to that show over these other clips. Those other clips were freaking great. And I'm just like, I don't know anybody who watches this. So I'm curious. And again, don't they have like only like one episode every like 12 years? That's the other thing about these web series. they only seem to have like a couple of episodes like every like few years. I mean, are people really watching? I don't know. I can't. That's too. All right, so I don't understand how they won the award, especially when you're looking at all those other clips of all those other shows. And I mean, the other thing I don't understand about them is they come out with like, what, 1 or 2 episodes every 10 years? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I've yet to meet anybody who really watches it, but it does keep winning all the awards, and I don't understand.
It's been I
can't watch it, sure.
Or something weird?
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but all of them are like that. That lesbian soap opera that Crystal Chappelle has with the girl from... yeah, every time I think that it's gone, I hear like there's a new episode, like 2 new episodes. I don't know. It's so weird. These web. I can't get into that. I need more. I need more than traditional web series are like what 8 minutes. I can't. Yeah. No, I need more than that.
And that's why I could never get into them. It wasn't because I don't like them. It's just it's like 5 minutes long.
Yeah, it's too short for me. I don't. Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure they're good because the Crystal Chappelle one, like that's been around forever too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I can't get into these web series. Yeah, I need more. I mean, I'm not saying look, the British soap operas are like 20 minutes, but you see how much the stuff they put in 20 minutes, right?
They
pack it in. So it's just like, you can't give me like one scene in it, like 5 minutes. I don't know how the story progressed. I don't know. All I can say is that whenever I've seen clips of these supposed web soap operas, they do nothing for me, and the Bay doesn't do anything for me. Every time I've seen clips of it, I've even tried to like watch one episode because What's Her Name from All My Children was in it, and I just was like, I was just like watching it like it didn't see how the British soaps I could just watch it. I'm already hooked in.
Right.
It doesn't do that for me.
Right.
It does not do that for me at all.
Yeah. Well, we're watching 8 shows. Our plates are full.
Our plates are full, so we're gonna stick with these 8 shows for now, and then if one of them, God forbid, gets canceled, we'll add something else. But right now, we're sticking with these 8.
Yes. and we did it, Jordan. We made it through. We did it.
We made it through. Another good episode. Hopefully we didn't offend anybody, and if we did, oh well.
Oh, and if you want to come for me, my name is Les Kurkendaal-Barrett. If you want to come, feel free. Come on down.
It's our opinion and freedom of speech and all that crap that y'all say.
Exactly. I'm very excited. We have some very cool guests coming up in the next few weeks. I'm thrilled with who we have coming. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, so we definitely have 2 surprise guests coming in. We're gonna try to get more, so it's gonna be fun.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, Melissa Reeves, if you want to come on and defend yourself, feel free. Feel free. You know, I'll listen to what you have to say. And if you want, right, you know, hey, I will talk to you.
I want Camilla to come on our show.
Hell yes, I want Camilla Bannis to come on the show.
You have to make that happen. I want Camilla on our show.
Oh, I know.
I would gag.
I want Camilla Bannis on the show too. I would love.
Oh my God.
Anyway, if you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Facebook at Les Kurkendaal-Barrett. Or you could go we have a Facebook page, Soap Opera Love in the Afternoon. So if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about, or if you want to leave comments or suggestions, please feel free to do that. And of course, we love reviews, and your reviews help us. So if you want to give us a review, go on to iTunes and do that. Jordan?
Did Tommy's review go through? Did you check to see? You weren't able to, right?
You know what? When did he do? Sometimes it takes a day to go through.
Okay. So Tommy, if you're hearing us,
last time I looked, it wasn't there. But it depends. Like,
okay, but it might take some time.
Yeah, I think it takes a day sometimes. Like, it doesn't go up immediately. That I do know.
Okay. All right, so it might be coming, Tommy.
Yeah. Hang tight, Tommy.
Oh my God, I had so much fun. I love doing this. This is getting me through the pandemic.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I have like an acting class in like an hour and a half, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get
I keep forgetting that you're like 3 hours. There's a 3 hours. I was like an acting class this late at night, and then I'm like, oh my God, he's in LA. It's different time. That's so funny.
It's 5:30, so my class starts at 8, and I'm like, I need to go lay down.
But wait, where is it? A virtual reality class?
Yeah, it's on Zoom.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I just realized I said it can't be like a class. All right. Well, go have your class, and we'll talk to all of you next week when we do this again.
Week. Yes. Talk to you next week.
All right. Love you all. Be safe.
Bye. Bye, Jordan.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Les.